Good morning. Welcome, Anthony Doby from ANZ DXC Red Rock. Anthony is a business intelligence practice lead, leading ANZ projects. DXC Technology runs mission critical systems with the latest technology innovations to deliver better business outcome and new levels of performance, competitiveness, and experience for their customers. The company's global scale, talent, and innovation platforms serve 6,000 private and public sector customers in 70 countries. So, Anthony, welcome to the program. So, how do you do it?
Thank you, Marek. I don't deal with those 6,000 companies. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. But yes, with my customers, I guess most of our projects, we start out looking at what the use case is for the client. What are they looking for? Often when we start a project, we don't actually know what the outcome is going to be, right? So what we find is the most important thing to do is get insight into that data as quick as we can.
So that's good. Look, I obviously want to start with a typical project in analytics. How do you start? What the typical challenges are? Just walk us through what's really happening.
Yeah, sure. Look, the most important thing I think is to get the tool set that we need, right? And we basically use three of the core Oracle products: Oracle Analytics Cloud, Oracle Data Integrator, and Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse. What that allows us to do is almost work in parallel along two streams, where the first thing we do is we say to the client, okay, we're looking at a certain domain of data. Let's hook Oracle Analytics Cloud up to that. We can connect to virtually any data source, whether it be an Oracle product or whether it be a spreadsheet, whether it be public domain data. Connect to that data, ingest that data, and get immediate insights into that data. So we're not actually going through a process where we're building integrations, developing reports and charts and dashboards, etc., and waiting, for a period of time to put something in front of the client. The client says, "Oh, well, it's not quite what we want." We're virtually in there within an hour. Within an hour or two, we've got data in front of them that they can actually start getting insight into, and not just by us presenting what we want to present to the client. We use the tools to tell us what it sees in the data. Oracle Analytics Cloud has a great feature where you say, explain the data to me, right? So you're not putting your own biases in there. The tool is analyzing the data and coming back with feedback for that data. And that often gives us a really good lead into what is the next step into the project to deliver the outcome that the client's looking for.
So that's a good start into those projects. So obviously you slowly or very fast need to tie up those data elements to some kind of a customer use case to start proving your hypothesis or business outcomes.
Exactly. So look, we look at what's in front of us. We talk to our client about that, and we look at, well, where do we think this is going to lead, and to then start to put more of a robust solution in place. We ingest that data into the Autonomous Data Warehouse through Oracle Data Integrator. We model the data in Oracle Data Integrator, and we model in such a way that we have a fully extensible data model, so a dimensional model to put together a data mart, and then we present that through once again through Oracle Analytics Cloud. So in the first instance, we connected direct to source. In the second instance, we're doing a bit of data modeling, giving some more flexibility in terms of the way we can sort of slice and dice that data, then present that data back and get more of an exact answer to the questions that we're looking for. Whereas in the first instance, we were looking at just getting insights, just getting ideas.
So you've got some data that you identify. So either enterprise data or some third-party data, whatever customer gives you, okay, or you find on the subject. And sometimes this data might not be good enough. You might need some, work on. So what do you use to, enrich it and get more attributes to shape it in the right size?
Look, there's once again, I guess, two parts to that answer to that. The first part is one in Oracle Analytics Cloud. is to ingest that data directly. We can join that data. It's often called blending, where we bring the data in and we can connect it up with what data we've already got. We can push that data through a data flow and do a little bit more of a formal type connection to that data to, yeah, as you said, to enrich that data, right? To fill the gaps in the data that we might be getting from the corporate solution, and then present that full data set in the end. And the second step, as I said, we often do this in parallel. We'll bring that through Oracle Data Integrator, and that gives us the ability to also look at cleansing of the data, for example. So we can put rules in place that look at the quality of the data, and anything that gets rejected is presented back to us. We can then fix that data and push that through the process as well.
So tell me, in terms of getting the data to the customer, right? Do you build machine learning? Do you build dashboards? Do you go through various approach depending on the customer case?
It does depend on the use case. I'll sort of talk about them in two sort of stages. The charts and dashboards, we tend not to try to do too much of that ourselves. All right. The tools that are available to us today really lead to that self-service approach, whereby we'll start off. We've got a lot of pre-built content that we'll use depending on what the use case is that we'll put there in front of the client. But we really want the client to get engaged. We want the client to start using the toolkit to get the insights themselves. Not only does it teach them more about using the tool, but it actually allows them to use their knowledge of their business to bring out the data. On the other side of it, the machine learning side, it's very, very interesting. Oracle Analytics Cloud has a great component that allows anyone to put together a machine learning process, that iterative process, very, very quickly. And then also underneath that, we've got the autonomous data warehouse that has, the ability to process massive amounts of data in a very quick amount of time as well. So we've had one use case where we worked on a fraud detection process where we were pushing data through that was tagged as fraudulent, and we used the machine learning algorithms just to identify patterns, not necessarily the patterns that had been used in the first instance by the client to identify that fraud, but any other patterns that existed in that data. And then that was put aside as the model, and then all other data comes through there, presents potential fraud. Not to say that it's going to say, this is fraud that should be acted upon. It's, hey, this is potential fraud that can then be investigated further.
That's great to hear. So tell me about a particular project where you would use all of these technologies and services and the know-hows and best practices. So
Sure.
Tell me about how you really put this in work.
Look, we worked recently with a defense industry leader, and it was a really interesting project. And what it showed us, we had an opportunity where we worked with two of their business units. One of them we worked very collaboratively with. They wanted to get involved. They wanted to work closely with. The other business unit was more, okay, this is what we want. You go away and deliver it. Now, when we worked collaboratively with this business unit, we did not lead the discovery, if you like. They did. They brought their business knowledge in. So what was great about that is that we have a lot of knowledge about the tools, and we have a lot of knowledge about various different industries, but they're the experts of their industries. So we had people from different parts of their business working with us, and we all had input into that process. So the collaborative approach, got way better results. And I guess that's what I would say to everyone. Whenever you have the opportunity, everybody's input is important. And listen to what everybody says. Listen to the younger person that comes into a group, all right, who's a lot younger than me, will have a different opinion and a different approach than I will. I will always work with my team to get their insights, and rather than just me telling them this is what we're doing, right? And I guess it's the same when you're working with your client. Listen to what the client's saying. Listen to every single person in that business, as well as putting your input as well. You'll get a much better end result.
So not only good and processes in place and good tools, but also good collaboration strategy working as a team. So
Absolutely.
tell me about that particular project that you just mentioned. What are the outcomes? Is this project finished already?
It is, and yes, the client was, you know, extremely impressed. They got the information that they wanted, they got the insights they wanted, whereas previously they were going through a very manual process. They were getting data that they put together and had charts and reports that were then being published and distributed. But by the time they'd done the work to put it together, it was out of date, which is a very typical scenario. Whereas now they have, you know, up-to-date data, virtually, you know, near real time in some instances, where they're able to actually look at that data and act on it immediately.
Wonderful. So that's concluding. Thank you very much for sharing this. That's concluding our segment today. So we're wishing you all the best with those analytical projects, and hoping to hear from you and see you at this program again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marek.